That's right, guys. Welcome back to Nerd Thug Radio. As always, it is Corey DLG on the onesies. And then on the twosies, it's Zach Attack.
Onesie. Oh, Corey in a onesie.
And then producing is Nico, the DLG.
That's me.
So this is Nerd Thug Radio, and we are on Conroe's Own, FM 104.5, 106.1, the sister stations, and we are worldwide online at irlonestar.com. Yeah, they're sister stations.
They're not, though.
They have the same dad.
They're twins, then, at the very least.
No, they're sister stations. You know nothing. You're the Jon Snow of radio.
Oh, classic joke.
Yeah.
Bringing it back,
boys, because we're only 18 more months away from the final season of Game of Thrones.
Woo!
What'd that do for everyone's spirit?
Speaking of landmarks, congratulations, you guys, on your 100th episode. I didn't get to say earlier in the show, but, man, that's impressive as hell.
Thank you.
I'm not going to lie.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I would have bet that we didn't make it past 20 episodes.
On Corey's 100th episode.
Right.
Nico, you had a huge hiatus, so I'll get back with you in like 30 more episodes.
This is probably, mathematically based on absence, this probably is my 100th episode.
This one?
Probably.
Right now?
Because I think I've missed a couple. Yes. So you're with me on my 100th. What is this, 103, 104?
Yes. This is 4.
Okay, 104. Yes. This is probably accurate. I've probably missed 4 episodes in 2 years. Yeah, that's probably right. Anyway, so real quick before we get into everything, let me tell you about my friends at Space Cadets Gaming. They are right there on Robinson Road in Oak Ridge, across from the Woodlands Mall. They've got Friday Night Magic. They've got Dungeons and Dragons. They've got all the board games you could ever want to need. They are sold out of Sink the Titanic, though. I checked.
Tragedy.
I checked for you. Actually, BMX specifically asked me to stop naming it because they are sold out.
I love it.
He's like, we have all those games, but we don't have Sink the Titanic.
I've never even played it, but I love it.
So they are lock, stock, and ready to rock. They got all kinds of games for you to enjoy as a family because they do the family values thing. They're actually really nice. It's a really nice place to go. You can bring the kids. They got a lot of family-friendly, kid-friendly games to play. They have a lot of demo games there because they want you to hang out and have a good time. They sell snacks and drinks. It's a fun place to go. I hang out there way too much. I'm sure they're ready for me to stop being there as much as I am. But anyway, Space Cadets Gaming, right there on Robinson Road in Oak Ridge. How we doing so far? You feeling okay?
Yeah, you know.
Energy levels high?
Yeah.
Ready?
Yep.
Okay, good, because I have a very important question for you. Super important. The script
I can't wait.
for Episode 9 in the Star Wars saga is finished. They expect shooting to begin mid-July.
Yay!
How pumped are you for this madness to be over so they can move on to something better?
100%.
I don't know.
I am there.
But that implies, like...
That it's terrible? It is.
That implies burnout, though. Like, I'm not
totally
burned out on Star Wars.
Completely. I'm not burned out on Star Wars. I'm burned out on these characters in this story. Couldn't care less.
I'm not.
By the end of this last one, while this last one was actually, I think, good, but it received insane criticism from the, I'm going to use finger quotes here, fans. Fans hated it. I actually thought this was a better one.
I don't know why.
Because it didn't answer any of the relevant questions.
It didn't answer any of their questions.
It didn't... okay.
And also the whole training thing was like a 10-minute conversation. Teach me to be a Jedi.
It's because...
That's it.
That's it. And, like, probably more so with Star Wars than any other type of movie, when you go in with expectations, or this is a relevant question, so this better get answered, or this is what I think Jedi training should look like, so this better happen. Like, you're bound to be disappointed.
But you would think you would see some form of... Like, I completely understand when people are like, hey, now it seems like the easiest thing in the world to be a Jedi. Just have a conversation with Luke Skywalker and you are one.
But that's the thing. Luke made it abundantly clear that he wasn't interested in training her as a Jedi. So I don't know why... Like, the trailers made it abundantly clear. So, like, I don't know why people went into that movie thinking Luke's going to train her to be a Jedi.
Because it was called The Last Jedi, and everyone assumed it was going to be,
right,
a lie. They thought there was going to be one more Jedi, and there's not. Although, technically, Luke Skywalker kind of implies...
First of all, it's multiple Jedi. We know that, right?
What do you mean? Who's the other Jedi?
The Last Jedi, the title of the film, is plural Jedi.
But Jedi singular is the same word, so how do you know it's plural?
Because the Spanish translation of the movie poster is Los Últimos Jedi.
Oh. So the Spanish translation was plural, therefore you know it's plural.
So yeah.
So then are they saying Kylo Ren and Rey?
I don't know.
Who's the big bad? Is it Kylo? Who knows?
No, it is Kylo. By the end of this movie, you know it's Kylo.
Right.
Like, by the end of this movie, there's no doubt who the ultimate bad guy is. It's Kylo Ren.
But there's speculation on that too, right? Like, was Snoke really killed? What is Snoke really dead?
I mean,
Who
But
is
that-
Snoke?
but-
Is he important at all?
but that-
Was he just some old dude in a gold robe that showed up and was like, "This is my new bathhouse"?
with a rough head injury.
But
Right,
that's
yeah.
that's the point, right? Like, and that
Is
goes to my
it?
point. When you go into these movies, like
Well-
these fans who are pissed off because their questions didn't get answered, aren't stopping to think, well, maybe the questions we thought were relevant aren't.
But
They're not looking at the story. Like
no,
this
but
trilogy
they are.
of this
They are because
trilogy
there's
of
stuff that they've glossed over. Like the Emperor was relevant for the first 6 movies, right? He was a crucial character to the evolution.
he wasn't relevant for New Hope
Yeah, he is.
as a background figure.
He's a background
He's
figure.
not even given a name.
He's a background
until the
figure
prequels.
in Episode 4. Well, no, that's when his identity's revealed.
Sorry,
that he was.
not that he wasn't given a name.
Right.
The Palpatine is never mentioned. That name is never mentioned in any of the original trilogy.
Right, because at that point he's the Emperor. But he was he was what,
No,
was
yeah,
senator
yeah.
before that. Yeah.
Right, but
So anyway, my point is there's a whole story for this guy, and then so he dies at the end of Episode 6. Episode 7, there's a brand new dude. He gets no story, none whatsoever. The last guy got 6 movies. This guy gets 1.5 movies, no story.
right, but again,
So-
that
He
goes
got one
to
and
the
a half
point.
movies. He got like, I think he has a grand total of like 20 screen time minutes.
I think what we need to remember though is
Animatronic dinosaurs had more screen time in Jurassic Park.
this trilogy of trilogies is a Skywalker story.
Right, but
That's what it is.
But you can't imply that there's this great and powerful force-wielding person in a world where none of those people exist anymore. And then he shows up and he has power. He took power somehow. Apparently that's not relevant, though. But it is relevant.
You
like,
can't-
you have
also-
Obi-Wan
also-
Kenobi died in New Hope.
Yeah, but he got 3 other movies
but-
later.
Right. Okay, fair enough. But but all Obi-Wan Kenobi was the vehicle for Luke to realize and move towards his destiny, right?
Right.
Maybe that's all Snoke was for Kylo Ren.
Right, but...
Maybe his importance, and
But
I get
because-
what you're saying.
because the movies
Obi-Wan
go in
Kenobi,
order,
I
right.
get what you're saying. Obi-Wan Kenobi got back development, right? But
Right.
at the time of that trilogy, that was it.
Right,
that
but-
was
but
was
he's
Kenobi's full story.
Right, but you can't go episode 4, 5, 6, episode 1, 2, 3, now to
Now the
episode
context of Star Wars is way bigger than
Correct.
just those 3 films.
Right, and so now that you go to episode 7, you have a guy. So at the end of episode 6,
Agreed, but you're expecting
well, hang on, because at the end of episode 6, there's no Emperor, there's no Darth Vader. The Empire should have some sort of power vacuum. Someone would come into
and
power.
it does.
Someone does come into power. The First Order clearly comes into power somehow.
Well, and that's addressed in the novels, which I we've talked about mixed
Yeah.
media before. But here's the thing: Kylo Ren's story parallels Luke's, right? Like we all see that.
Yeah, ish.
This weird,
ish.
shady guy pushes him towards his destiny.
Except the other weird, shady guy
He's on
was
the
his
dark
father,
side,
though.
but then he leans towards the light,
Right,
and
but
then he falls back into the dark.
but
which
the
is
other-
the polar opposite of Luke. Like I think we're
but the other bad guy had strong family ties. There was a reason for it. He wound up being his father. This time, it's just a stranger who gave him candy.
as far as we know. But there again, like we're
So does this mean that there's a question you expect to be answered in episode 9?
I don't know.
Like the relationship between Snoke and Kylo Ren still has to be addressed, right?
Possibly, yeah. There has to be some backstory, I think, of the development.
So they
of
got
how
one more
Kylo
movie-
Ren got to where he was.
Right, so they
he
got
didn't
one
just
more-
leave Luke's training and find Snoke
Because
which-
of the whispers from a broken helmet.
right. So here's the deal:
Same in my emo
the
band.
same, logically, these same fans who are bitching about not having back development on Snoke would have been the same people who, in Empire Strikes Back, were furious that Obi-Wan Kenobi's story wasn't more fully developed. Right?
Right,
because it absolutely was.
No, because in the same movie he's introduced, he dies. Snoke is introduced in 7.
Snoke. Jesus,
Yeah, I keep
get
doing
the
that,
name
yeah.
right.
He's introduced in 7 as a super bad guy who put together the new empire. He leads everything. And
Fair.
then in 8, he gets a lot of screen time. And then in 8, he also gets murdered.
Fair enough.
But it's never explained, why does he have force powers? I thought there were no more Jedi. I thought there were no more Sith. Where does this dude come from? How is he the new Sith Lord?
Right, but
How
the,
is he teaching
right, but the
people?
whole mythology, especially in episode 7,
Especially because we've never heard of him. Like there's literally like there's no lead up because Star Wars is such a
but it
well-rounded
doesn't matter.
universe.
That shouldn't matter, right?
It totally does.
But
Because
it,
there
but it
should be at
shouldn't
least-
because
There
again,
should at least be like Jedi Snoke somewhere.
but again,
Right.
But again, the same fans who complain that the prequel trilogies, oh, we don't need to see how everyone's connected. Because you remember that
Right.
complaint, right?
Well, yeah, because
now
he was building C-3PO, which made no sense.
Right. So now the same fans are complaining that, well, where's the connection to Snoke? Why can't it just be a new character that has pushed Kylo Ren to a point?
Because we know nothing about him other
Why
than
do you
he's
need
strong.
to? Why do you need to know anything about him?
Because of the Force. Because of the Force specifically.
But there are Force wielders who are not Jedi or Sith. That is made abundantly clear.
But he's
in
clearly
episode
Sith. He's clearly Sith because he's
not Sith. You're wrapping you're falling into that Jedi or Sith are the only Force users. That's patently untrue. It's acknowledged in Rogue One. Maz Kanata acknowledges it in episode 7. Yeah.
Yeah, 7.
There are more Force. It's all
There's
over Clone Wars and
people can be Force sensitive, but it'll typically
there
lean
are
in one.
Force users who are not Jedi or Sith.
Right.
I don't know about that.
That's true.
They
I don't
can
know
be
about
trained
that.
by the Jedi or the Sith.
Right.
No.
Who taught him how to do what he does?
Stop. There are Force users who have nothing to do with the Jedi or the Sith.
Then how do they get taught? If we have to train anybody to use
That
it,
is okay.
how do they
We
get
could
taught?
get
Because
deep.
there's
We
also
could,
two sides of the Force that each
that's-
school leans towards.
no.
Right,
oh my-
but again,
we are getting way off.
no, we're not. You're not answering the direct question. Who taught him to do it?
I can answer the question.
Who taught him?
But it's all over the Clone Wars and it's all over the Rebels.
Who taught him? Someone.
I don't know.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean
So
he's
that
not
means
a
there's a
Force
question
user.
to be answered. Of course.
He
Of
is
course.
a Force user.
So he was learning how to use it from somebody. So someone has to teach
But
him.
it doesn't have to be the Jedi or the Sith.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't. There are other Force
No,
users
there's
besides
not.
it. Yeah, there.
No, there's not.
Star Wars Rebels, it's all over it.
Star Wars.
Star Wars Rebels, which is canon. The Clone Wars, which is canon. Maz
okay,
Kanata,
hang on.
which is canon.
The Rebels-
Rogue One, which is canon.
All right, stop saying canon. The Rebels is post Episode 6, where things have changed.
No. It's pre-Episode 6.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
They're still in there.
Rebels is pre-Episode. Is pre.
Oh
New
yeah, because
Hope.
Darth Vader isn't it.
Darth
You're right.
Vader's
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
All these things. There are
Yeah, you're
Force
right, you're right.
users who are not Jedi or Sith.
All right. With that, we're gonna get out of here because Zach's crazy and wrong.
Google it. Google it.
I don't have to. Now what?
I don't know. Don't listen to this show. It's fake news.
When we come back, probably puppies and grapefruit juice.